MDOT presents the Extra Mile Podcast.
Welcome into another edition of the Extra Mile Podcast presented by the Mississippi Department of Transportation. I'm Paul Catul, and as always, joined by my co-host, Will Kraft. And Will, thank you for holding things down last episode, writing solo. I spent the entire week on jury duty, a murder case.
Little Bobby Schmurda.
Pretty crazy, but a much happier subject today. We have truly one of the nicest, coolest people at MDOT. We have Miss Amy Hornback, who is the Secretary to the Mississippi Transportation Commission. Amy is awesome. Thank you so much for joining us and speaking with us today.
Well, thank you. If I'm one of the coolest people, then MDOT's in trouble.
No.
But thank you for the introduction.
We truly mean that for sure.
Absolutely.
And listen, you've been here a while, and we'll kind of get into that. But kind of what's your background? What were you doing before you got to MDOT? What led you here?
Well, I graduated from Mississippi College with a degree in communication, and I started work right away with the American Red Cross, and I did fundraising statewide for them. I did not make much money. They shared a grant with Alabama, so
Okay.
I had to find a second job to kind of make it through at that time, and I worked for the Jackson Generals, which was the Astros AA team here in Jackson. I was the press box attendant.
Oh,
So that
nice.
was a fun job. Worked with a radio announcer.
I haven't thought about them in a long time. Just have it was a little bat just to stay in my truck all the time.
Yes.
A little short one.
Yeah, so that was a fun job. And the Red Cross, even though I didn't make much money, it was a wealth of experience. I got to go to Puerto Rico and work 3 weeks after a hurricane. Did a telethon with Telemundo, and went to North Dakota and worked after a flood. So it was a great job to have, learning experience. And from there, I went to Gayfer's department store and handled their advertising, and Gayfer Girl Teen Board, did all the fashion shows. And then from there, I went to McRae's and started the charity sale for them. So.
Very nice. One of us, a communications pro.
Yeah.
One of us.
Well, parlay right on, or not parlay, segue, whatever. Continuing, so right after that? I mean, you were at Gayfer's McRae's was the last one. What brought you to MDOT?
Well, Gayfer's got bought out by Dillard's, and then I went to McRae's, and then they merged with Belk, and I was tired of moving. I was tired of, I wanted something consistent. And my husband said, well, why don't you look at state government? I thought, well, okay, I don't know what I'd do for the state, but I applied with the Green app, still had the Green app back then, and there was a special projects officer job at MDOT, and I really didn't even know what department it was in or
Right.
anything. Found out it was public affairs, and I didn't know, really outside of the orange trucks, they were still orange back then, I didn't know much about MDOT. So I asked them to put together a little packet for me I could take home and look over, and it was wildflower brochures, and so I memorized
Oh, nice.
wildflower brochures and the districts, and I didn't know what they were going to ask me. So I came and interviewed, and the rest is history.
Well, I want to say one thing on that. I mean, we've done several interviews with people for positions and things in our time here. I don't know that anybody has prepped that to that level. I don't know
I'm a
that
nerd.
I don't know that I've really asked some of those questions, to be honest. But yeah, no, that's impressive to say the least. Well, look, only 25 years ago did you think that at that moment did you think, well, I'm going to retire here?
No, I didn't. And I certainly didn't think, I always thought I'd be in public affairs. That's, what I went to school to do. And the commissioners at the time, I'd only been in public affairs about 3.5 years, and they called me up, I thought, to write an editorial or something. And the secretary to the commission was retiring, and they asked me, did I want the job? And I was like, I don't know what she does, and they really couldn't tell me much either. But I thought about it for the full 2 weeks because I loved my job in public affairs, but I took it, and 21 years later, I'm still here in the same position. So
That's awesome.
It's been great.
That's amazing. That's a long time, good amount of time. And so tell us about let's go to the present day. So kind of what is your day-to-day as the Secretary to the Mississippi Transportation Commission?
Well, I pretty much manage their Jackson office. Each of the commissioners has their own separate office in their district. So I manage their Jackson office. I help with the staff of MDOT put together the agenda for their bi-monthly meetings on the second and fourth Tuesday. The big thing is to keep the minute books. We still keep actual books, huge books that they've had since the 1920s. The commission's been here since 1916. So it's a long time of minute books, and we have a library downstairs, you can go look, and present day, we still keep them. They have to be formatted a certain way and make sure everything's in there, authorizing the director to be able to sign.
That's those giant books.
Giant books.
Okay. I've seen them.
And so that's a big part of the job, is being the record keeper. Like any summons or garnishment that an employment they all come through our office. And I work a lot with legal. I do a lot of research. People calling. We had a case, 3 divisions called me about something from the 1960s. And the commissioners at that time had made a deal to have an agreement on a piece of property, and nobody could find it. It was never in the minutes. That was kind of big back in the day, that maybe they would make some deals, and they can only speak through their minutes by law. So if it's not in the minutes, it didn't happen. Sure. So a lot of research day to day.
Wow, that is good stuff. And really, you're a great example of people in state government. You know, you don't think about the people that work behind the scenes, but like, you need people like you that know how things work, that know the records of everything. So I'm sure you just get an insane number of calls. And hopefully we did not create doing this episode even if it worked for you. It was like, oh, Amy will know that. But you never know.
You never know.
For sure.
And look, I want to add to that. I mean, this is not just one cycle of commissioners we're talking about here. You have worked or served with 8 commissioners, right? 8
commissioners. Dick Hall, Wayne Brown, and Bill Miner, who have all since passed away, hired me back in 2004. I started in 2005 with them, February. So, yes, and I'm now on my 8th commissioner with Commissioner Busby coming in.
Yeah. I'm sure you've seen lots of preferences on how different ones wanted things done or that nature, but you've made it so far through all of those different changes.
Well, I've learned over the years to keep my mouth shut, which is not always easy for me. I remember one time with Commissioner Hall asking him, "Can I give my 2 cents?" And he said, "Well, you usually do." And I thought, well, if you'd listen to me more.
Right.
But now I try to keep my mouth shut unless they ask me for something. But I've been lucky. All the commissioners have been great, different personalities. Every time a new commissioner comes in, it changes the dynamic of the commission. But one good thing about the commission, even with coming from different political parties, their goal's the same. So I've never felt like their politics played a big role, because they were looking out for the safety and efficiency of transportation in their district and for the whole state. So
it is a great example of sort of a 3-headed animal that watches over all of the infrastructure things. While they do have their own different ideas and opinions and politics, we often see the 3 commission come together and be on the same page as far as moving Mississippi forward. I love that. We're a little different structure than some of our other states, too. So I still appreciate having those folks, those guys.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we're the only elected commission in the country, which is, I think, just having the people represented is huge. I mean, I always tell people we still elect our coroner. So we like to elect people here. And over the years, I've had other states call me and ask about the system, because they had looked at going to that.
Oh, wow.
So no system's perfect, but I think ours is really good and has worked well over the years.
We concur.
Definitely. So listen, you mentioned 25 years. There's been a lot of stuff that's happened. Why don't you start us off with some? Let's get into some stories. So, do you have any memorable time stories here at MDOT that you like to kind of shout out?
Yeah, let's see. One was from Public Affairs. We had a lot of projects going on in the Central District, for sure. And we were trying to come up with a campaign. We'd sit around and brainstorm, which I'm sure y'all still do. And we came up, and don't laugh, but we thought it was good at the time. Here a dot, there a dot, everywhere in MDOT. Because we have projects everywhere. And we started the pilot project for the Go MDOT cameras.
Oh, yeah.
So we traveled Jackson, DeSoto County, and the coast, and did press conferences and kind of launched that system and brought the media in different areas to brainstorm on where they thought the cameras should go.
Oh,
So
wow.
that was a really cool thing to be a part of and see how much it's grown since then.
Yeah. That's exactly what I was going to say. I mean,
Yeah.
now you turn on the TV. I mean, if you ever see, live feeds, it's 9 times out of 10, if not, more, us.
It
It's
is,
the
and,
MDOT feed.
and get that great PR for free. Those are our cameras out there. It's cool.
That is
to
really
see
neat.
that.
Now, being a part of the starting that's pretty cool.
That is cool.
And then with the commission, there's a lot of different things, but I've seen a lot of projects start and be completed. Highway 9's one for Toyota.
Oh, yeah.
Had the groundbreaking in like 2011, and a year later we had the ribbon cutting. It was quick.
That's very fast.
Yeah, the DOT secretary came and spoke, and that was a real good one. And then, of course, I-269, which
Oh, yeah.
was about 8 years ago. I mean, huge things that, you think you're not just in the present. There will be people in the future that will go back and see our names and things that we were a part of, and that's pretty cool to know.
Absolutely. I want to add to 269. I remember that. I think I had just, maybe a month, because it was in July or August sometime of that year. I remember I had just come to MDOT and got up there for that event. It was cold and raining, and the wind was blowing. I think you have a great picture of y'all are all kind of at the podium or on the stage, and the wind hits, and everybody's papers wet about the same time. Everybody's going a different direction.
Yes.
Great event, good project.
That
Maybe
was
not so ideal weather-wise.
That was a wild day. That was actually funny enough the first day I ever met Will.
That's
That
right.
was the first conversation we ever had, and yeah, it was cool because it was underneath the like one of the overpasses.
It was.
Like, that was kind of surreal.
It was very surreal that day. I remember going up, 55 or whatever, to get up there. I think they still had officers maybe at those ramps. They weren't letting public travel. But you turned down it. Kind of nobody as far as you could see. It felt a little eerie driving down that brand new 4 lanes.
It did, and I think that was the project that Mitch Turner sent me coordinates on how to get there.
Whoa. Okay.
A non-engineer, I need a turn by the McDonald's.
Yeah.
And I thought, Mitch, this isn't going to work, but I got there, so.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Oh, for sure. Hey, listen, we like to ask a lot of our internal guests this, and we are big MDOT people, me and Will, kind of youngins. I don't know if you can say that anymore about us, really. But listen, you've been here a good while, and so what's kept you here? Like, kind of sell us on state government, but really MDOT, about the MDOT family and why you've remained here.
The people are wonderful. It really is like a family. I know we say that a lot, and people are probably like, ugh, but it really is. Even when I first started, they used to have birthday parties for everybody, and we finally quit doing it because it was just too much on the 10th floor. It was like cake every week, but it's always been about not just your family here, but your family at home was important too, and they emphasize that. And I've got married since I've been here, had 2 children, and to know that they were just as important to the people I worked with as what I did. And the life balance of being able to be the homeroom mom and go to the Christmas parties, and it was real good. And my kids love it here too. They have a good view of MDOT, so carrying it on.
Yeah.
Love it.
I would second that as well. I think we've said it a billion times. And you're right. I do think sometimes people probably scoff at us out there for the amount of times we say it. But we're not kidding. We don't rehearse this part at all. It really is. And I've said it once several episodes ago. This may have been a year or more ago. But I hope that everyone has an opportunity to work somewhere that has been as awesome and familial as what I have encountered in my few years here. I think I'm coming up on maybe 8 years or something like that. And all of that, I did get married right before I got here, but had both of my girls, and then got another one coming. All of that through here, and it's been such a blessing. The people, you never want to disappear from work or anything like that, and look up and 2 weeks have gone by. But having babies, that does happen occasionally. And, man, I just never fear for, is everything going to be okay? Is the work being tended to? And not only is it being tended to, it's probably being better. It's probably being done better than even I would have done it myself. Love us some MDOT around here.
Yeah, me too.
No doubt.
For sure. Well, lots of good information today, Amy. Thank you so much for speaking with us. We do have some. These were fun questions, but we have some more fun. We're doubling up on the fun.
Oh wait, and I have one more before we even get to those two. I forgot to
sure.
mention this. So I think you and our executive director
Yes.
also worked together at the first iteration of his MDOT service.
Yes. Let's see. I started in 2000, and I think Brad started in 1999 when Commissioner Hall came aboard. He worked for Commissioner Hall, and I was in public affairs on the 10th floor, and Brad hung out in our division a lot because we were all younger back then, and we go to lunch together. And yeah, Brad's great.
He likes to have a good time. There's no doubt. I think I don't remember if it was you or he that told me that funny. There was a funny story about, I guess, when y'all were sitting, at the bi-monthly commission meeting. It's down around the little conference table in the commission room, and y'all are sort of seated at the ends of it now. And what did he say? Like, never would have thought.
Yeah, he said, "Did you ever think back then that we'd be sitting at opposite ends of this table?" I said, "No, not unless we were being called up for something."
Got in trouble.
That's funny.
That is pretty good.
No,
Well,
not you.
time flies when you're having fun.
That's right.
25 years, and man, we appreciate you, no doubt.
Thank
For
you.
sure.
With that,
Yeah. Will, you want to take the food question? We're bringing it back.
I will. Yeah, it has been a while. We've had a lot of repeat guests,
Sure.
and I hate to make them answer the same question over and over. Not that we don't still love to eat, but what we've asked a lot of times, a lot of our legislators and elected officials that come on the show, they spend a lot of time, as you might imagine, traveling the state, going here and there. And if there was, we'd like to ask them, is there a restaurant or a hole-in-the-wall sort of, dive bar or something that maybe you don't get to go to very often, or you just came upon one time and never forget it. I always want to try and go back there when I'm in the area, or just even if you don't have a favorite food spot.
Gosh, I love to eat, so I have a lot of favorite food spots. Oxford's got a bunch, but I think Airport Grocery in Cleveland.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
They have great tamales. Like, I'll just get a half dozen tamales for lunch, and it's great.
Commissioner Simmons, we're going to need some tamales.
That's right.
couple
That's
weeks.
right. I love Cleveland, so.
Amen.
Cleveland's great. I don't think, have we had that answer yet?
No, absolutely not.
I mentioned this before. I'm like, I never heard of it. I should know every single restaurant in Mississippi. It's not that big of a place, but it actually is. So that's like dumb logic. But that's a great answer. I second the Oxford
Tamales.
Lots of stuff up in Oxford. And then the other question we like to ask, of course, MDOT Public Affairs. We love to go to concerts. Me and Michael Flood just caught one last Thursday. We always love to check out music, but I'm sure you're a big music person as well. What's a memorable concert that you've attended in the past that you like to shout out?
Let's see. I've been to a lot of concerts.
Love it.
Let's see. Saw Hootie and the Blowfish at Jubilee Jam. That was 100
Nice.
years ago. Def Leppard in Memphis when I was at Ole Miss
That
was
one's pretty
great.
cool, yeah.
But I think my favorite, I love old country, and I love Randy Travis. So I saw
Yeah.
Randy Travis, Tammy Wynette,
Oh, wow.
and Alan Jackson at the Jackson Coliseum in 1990, and I was on the front row.
Oh, wow. Well, that is pretty cool.
So that's probably my favorite.
That's a great one.
Yeah.
We need to bring back those Coliseum concerts.
I know. I mean,
Commissioner
I love
Gibson.
that amphitheater.
Sure.
We do too. We
Yeah.
we talk about it a good bit, no doubt. And I always go to or try to at least catch one or two of the rodeo
Yes,
concerts. They
yes.
usually have some good talent. Some of the older talent I have not seen. I think what was it, the brothers, the older.
Oh, the Oak Ridge Boys?
Yeah, I think I saw them a couple of years ago.
Yes.
There,
I saw them walking down the street, working on the first floor.
Really?
They were playing at the radio, and I was like, the one with the long beard.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I looked, I was like, that's the Oak Ridge Boys. Like 3 of them walking down the street. So, yeah, you never know.
just
you
out
might
having a
see.
time. No, I never thought I would go see them in concert.
Oh, they're great.
Sure enough.
Well, good stuff. Amy, thank you so much for joining us, an OG MDOT employee.
Right.
We love it. Great information, and we'll just go ahead and wrap things there. We want to thank our listeners, our viewers, for tuning into the Extra Mile podcast. You can watch and listen to episodes by visiting gomdot.com/the extra mile. Follow us on social media at Mississippi DOT is the handle. We want to thank our producer, editor, Drew Hall over there. Remember to drive smart out there on Mississippi highways.